you're in debt right now thinking, where do I even start? This is the video you need. Because before we started this journey, we were in over £22,000 of debt. And the hardest part wasn't even the money. It was not knowing what to do next.
Yeah, and this is where most people get it wrong. They jump straight into it trying to pay off debt without fixing the habits and the systems that got them there in the first place. So you make progress, then fall straight back into the same cycle. And we know that because that was us.
But once we changed a few key things first, everything started to shift. So in this video, we're breaking down 8 things you need to do before you start your debt payoff journey, based on what actually worked for us. So step 1, know your numbers. The first thing we had to do, and honestly, this took a bit of courage, was to sit down and actually look at everything. Every single debt, credit card, loan, balance, interest rate, all of it. It's not super fun or glam, but it had to be done. Because for me personally, I didn't want to know. I just kind of wanted to keep paying my minimum payments and be a baby girl and just chill out. But we knew we had debt. And we didn't actually know how bad it was. But then we finally wrote everything down and saw that it was over £22,000. We were in shock. But then weirdly, it also felt like for the first time, we were actually in control because this wasn't an unknown thing anymore. We could see it. And once you can see something, you can actually start to fix it. And if there's one thing we learned here, it's this: don't avoid your numbers. That one moment of discomfort actually gives you clarity. And clarity is what allows you to move forward.
So step 2 is to understand your cash flow. What was actually coming in every month and what was going out. And this is where we had to be real with ourselves and identify that it's not just bills, it's lifestyle. It's the eating out, the subscriptions, and all the small spending. And those small things add up over time.
Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. This is where it got a bit uncomfortable again. Because in my head, I thought that I knew what I was spending. But then when we actually looked at it properly, it was very different. We were very much in that mindset of, I'll just tap now and figure it out later. And those little £10, £20, £30, those little spends, they didn't feel like much in the moment, but when you actually add it up, it's a lot.
Yeah, and that's when it clicked for us. It wasn't just the big expenses, it was the habits. Once we saw where our money was actually going, we could finally see where we could make changes. So our advice is, don't guess your finances. Map it out properly, because when you do, you'll see the opportunities and you don't even realize that they were there in the first place. So step 3 is to stop adding new debt. This was a big move for us. And it sounds obvious, but in reality, it's a mindset shift. We stopped using credit cards, stopped buying things on buy now, pay later. And if we couldn't afford it in that moment,
we didn't buy it.
Because before that, we were still doing little things like, I'll just put it on Klarna, or I'll just use the credit card and sort it out later. And in our heads, it felt manageable, but realistically, we were just keeping ourselves stuck. We were taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And that's when it really clicked for us. You can't be serious about getting out of debt if you're still creating it. Every time you add new debt, you're undoing your own progress.
Yeah, guys, and I had to really check myself because I was very much in my I'll deal with it later era, but later always comes, and it comes with interest. You have to break the cycle first. Progress doesn't start when you pay off debt. It starts when you stop adding to it. Step 4 is building an emergency fund. So one thing that really changed the game for us was building a small emergency fund. And I know it can feel kind of counterproductive when you're in debt. Like, why am I saving when I should be paying things off? But this is what gave us peace of mind.
Yeah, because before that, every emergency expense would just go straight onto a credit card. And we actually experienced that firsthand when I unexpectedly lost my job. We didn't have an emergency fund at all. And that moment really showed us the reality of our situation. Because instead of having something to fall back on, We had to take out more loans and go further into debt just to stay afloat. And that pushed us back even more.
Yeah, guys, and the thing is, we're not the only ones. In the UK, around 1 in 5 people would have to go into debt just to cover a £250 emergency. So it shows how easy it actually is to fall into that cycle. And that's the cycle from our experience. Something happens, you rely on credit, and now you've added more debt. So it felt like no matter how much we tried to move forward, life would just pull us back. But once we built even just a small buffer, it meant that we could handle things without undoing our progress. It wasn't about having loads saved. It was about just having something there so that we didn't have to rely on debt anymore. So our advice here is, an emergency fund isn't about getting ahead. It's about not going backwards. So even just a small buffer can protect your progress. You don't need to have everything figured out. Just start building something. Because when life happens, and it will, you'll be glad you did.
Yeah, so step 5 is to create a surplus. One of the biggest things that helped us move faster was creating a surplus, which is basically just having extra money left over each month to put towards debt. And before this, I can't lie, there was no surplus. It was very much money comes in and money goes straight back out. And sometimes even more was going out than coming in. And that's where we had to get intentional, because a surplus doesn't just appear. You actually have to create it. So for us, that meant actually checking our spending, cutting back where we could, being more mindful, and not just spending money because we felt like it. Because before, it was very much spending for vibes, not plan-based spending. And it wasn't just about cutting back. It was about thinking, how can we increase what's coming in? I'm not even going to go too deep with that one. We'll save that for another video. Subscribe if you haven't already. You won't want to miss it. But even small changes can start to create that space. And once we created even a small surplus, that's when things started to really move. Our advice here is to focus on increasing the gap between your income and your expenses. Even if it starts small, that gap is what gives you momentum. And this next one is what actually helped us stay consistent with that momentum.
Okay, guys, so step 6 is building a disciplined mindset. One thing we didn't realize at the beginning of our journey is how much of this is actually mental. It's not about, it's about the money, but more than anything, it's about the mindset. We had to fully commit, not just say we wanted to be debt-free, but actually decide that we were going to do it. And trust me, that sounds simple, but it's not. Because before that, we were kind of in between. We wanted to get better, but our habits weren't really matching that. And that's where consistency and discipline came in. Doing the right things even when we didn't feel like it. Because there were definitely moments where we didn't feel like sticking to it. We didn't. I didn't. Yeah? Where I wanted to just go back to my old habits, spend freely, and not think too much about things. But we had to remind ourselves why we started. And once we made that decision properly, everything started to align with it.
Yeah, it stopped being something that we were trying to do and became something that we were actually committed to. And the reality is, a lot of people struggle here because it's easy to start something, but staying consistent over time is where a lot of people fall off. But that's what makes the difference. You don't become debt-free by motivation. You become debt-free by identity. Because motivation is what you feel, but identity is how you actually behave on a day-to-day.
So here's our advice. Make a clear decision and then start aligning your habits with that decision, even in the small things. Because consistency over time is actually what changes your situation.
So step 7 is to create your debt avalanche and also create a tracker. Now we had all the foundations in place. This is where everything started to come together and where the actual strategy came in using the debt avalanche method. That's where you focus on paying off your highest interest debt first, whilst keeping the minimum payments on the rest. Because that way, you're reducing the amount of interest you're paying overall and getting out of debt faster.
And alongside that, we created a tracker.
Or I created a tracker, actually.
He created a tracker, correction. And this part is so important because seeing the numbers go down in real time, seeing your progress month by month, it does something to you. I mean, that's my favorite part. And it shows you what you're actually doing is working.
Yeah, exactly that. It gave us direction and it gave us momentum. So our advice is use a system and track your progress. Because when you can actually see what you're doing, you're far more likely to stay consistent. And as we know, consistency is key to seeing real progress.
And that brings us to the end of this video. If you feel like we missed anything, or if there's something that's helped you on your journey, leave it in the comments. We genuinely love to hear it. And make sure you leave a like. It really helps the channel.
And just remember, if we can do it, so can you. We're all on this journey together. So let's jet to success. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care, guys.